What's going on, car guys and car gals? It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy,
It's Frelin Arts, the subprime hero.
and we are brewing solutions live on the Car Guy Coffee podcast. I am here in Tampa, Florida, at the headquarters, the new headquarters of our incredible sponsors, Dealership Toolkit, and we are excited to be brewing solutions. Look, Fred's over in the studio, and I miss you, dog.
I was
I
just
miss
with you,
dog.
man. It was just
I
last
know,
night. We
I
were hanging
know.
out, Top Golf, hitting some golf balls down there in Tampa, and I love it down there, folks. If you haven't been to Tampa, there's an opportunity for you to come visit the Car Guy Coffee crew. We're going to be there. He's at the Satellite Studios, like he's talking about, right there at the Dealership Toolkit, and we are ready to bring some people in and do some interviews there. If there's
That's
any
right.
place that you want to go do an interview at a podcast, Tampa's the place, man. It's beautiful there. Tons of things to do. We got some good food in that area, good places to go see, great entertainment. Look, and Car Guy Coffee will be there, right? We'll make sure you're
That's
captivated.
right.
But today we are excited. We have somebody that is going to be on the show that is somebody super special to us.
And
Somebody
he's actually Tampa. He's a Tampa guy. The last time we seen him is here in
Well,
Tampa.
every time we see him, it's been in Tampa, just about, right?
I know.
That's
I
awesome.
believe so. But next time he's probably gonna be up inside of this office catching up the follow-up. But we get to christen this office inside of the actual studio of Car Guy Coffee, the
How crazy.
satellite Car
That's
Guy
right.
Coffee spot, and now inside of Tampa, we get to enjoy an incredible car guy that is really brewing solutions across the industry. I am so thankful that we had the chance to get him on here. But you all need to do yourselves a favor, and you need to do him a favor, and you need to do the industry favor, and you know what to do. Tag a car guy,
Tag a car gal.
guy, and share.
Share. That's right. Make sure you get it out there because sharing is caring, and we have some great things that we want to bring up. This guy that we're getting ready to bring up here in a moment is somebody that has a story that we need to hear. Somebody that is a solutionary in this industry who has faith. Somebody who really has faith. That is our number 2 core value, faith. And man, does he honor that. And that's number 3 core value, right, Lou? So I like how I turn to the side and act like I'm looking at you, right, Lou? You know, the other way for me. Anyway, yeah, there you are. But anyway, Lou, let's you ready to introduce, or you got something else you want to throw out real quick?
We ready to do
I
this.
thought
So car
I'm
guys
ready.
and car gals, you know what it is that you need to do. Fred, go ahead and hit that music. We're gonna go ahead and get this solutionary up in here, and we're gonna have a good time welcoming in the one, the only Joe Cala. Come on in, bro. Let's go.
So excited to have you on the show, my friend. What's going on?
What's up, man? Thank you so much, guys. I love your energy always.
Dressed right, baby. Looking good. Looking
shirt.
good.
Look at this, man. We're like twins, right?
Swagged
Yeah,
out.
dude.
Swagged
You
out,
guys are twins today, and I love it. We're excited to have you on the
Strong
show.
Island in the house.
That's right. And you know what? Solutionary in the house, and we salute you. We are
That's
so
right.
excited to have you on the show. We had to make a schedule adjustment, and man, has Joe always just been so graceful about
Every
it. He's
time.
given us grace and just say, hey, you know what? We'll work this out. He understands what it's like to live out of a suitcase sometimes, right? And what I do appreciate is that you were flexible with it, but this is needed, and we're excited to have this out here. Folks, please share this because we got somebody that has a story that I want to hear. I can't wait to hear more about this guy. I've got to see him speak. I got to see him give information. He's not selling anything to anybody. He's helping people get better at what they do. Right. And when you can do that, he does it not just in automotive. Actually, I just saw a post that you did, and the picture that you saw was in that post, and he was talking about how he's been keeping his life routine in his physical a lot better by eating better,
Bam.
maintaining. Look, hold on, look at that. Oh, guns.
Bam.
Gun show. You guys got the tickets?
Bam.
Yeah, gun show. That's right. So, no, we're excited to have you on the show, Joe. Thank you. Honored and blessed.
Thank you, man. I'm honored and blessed as well. I mean, I've seen you speak. I've seen you guys share, and to be able to have connection with you and to be able to come alongside of you to speak to your audience and to the audience of automotive right now is just I'm grateful for it. I'm thankful to be in this business. Been in this business pretty much my whole life since, like my kids would say, back in the 1900s, back when my son, for some strange reason, didn't think there was showers or anything like that around then. He's like, did you have showers, back then? I'm like, no, we just stood underneath waterfalls and let the mists of the ground, come up.
Simple as
That's
that.
about it.
Jumping a running river every once in a while, it was nice.
Yeah.
Deodorant was so important back then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. So, but thanks so much, guys. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to stand alongside you here and reach our industry. So thank you.
Well, it's
Absolutely.
an honor to have you on the show. And just as we were speaking before we came on here, and Fred alluded to it a bit, but there's something that's connecting between car guys and car gals that are finding more and more liberty to speak about their faith in the industry, speak about what it is that actually motivates them, more of the why behind the thing that they do. And the identity of who it is that we are is so much more important than just the thing that we do. But thankfully, we've been able to come together unified and actually be able to speak about what it is that we believe and see that there's other people that believe the same thing and want to stretch in that understanding. And it's so refreshing to find friends like you and to find people that are very, very passionate about their faith and are not willing to subdue it in order to fit status quo. And we love that because it's not just something that I believe that we need in our faith walk. I believe it's something that we need in the industry, because when you have something that you're so firmly holding on to, you're not swayed by the change of the tide, right? If problems show up, you're not so much afraid because you're already well anchored, you're already well rooted. And we're just so thankful that we get the chance to learn, to glean, and to hear more about that. But yes, our faith has united us, and it's something that we are so thankful that we get the chance to share with you, brother. And we honor it, we're thankful for it, and we're just thankful that we get to see our lights all connecting. It's so awesome.
Yeah, me too, man. It's funny. One of the things I tell people all the time is, especially as a believer, is if you really want to walk a life of faith, get into the car business, get into a commission-based business, and because you're not guaranteed anything, and what's guaranteed is your ability to come to work every day to try to earn something. And so, I mean, at the end of the day, we could also deal with the fact that we have to have faith and trust in God to help provide in that way. So, there's times where I remember many times where I was like, I don't know how. I just don't know how we're gonna make it. There's in my mind, I'm thinking, and then I'm saying, you know what? We're gonna have to trust God. We're gonna have to have faith, believe Him. That if I do my part, faith without works is dead. Amen. But if I do my part and I work my part, God will do His part. And so, so many times, and when I first started, it wasn't very popular to share faith in the business, back in 93, 94, 95, 96, in those times. And so, so it was, the 1900s. So it was, it wasn't very popular. And so, when I started to have that happen, the Lord actually brought me to a dealership in 2004 where the owner was a spirit-filled believer. And it was Nelson Nissan Mazda. And their actual tagline was, "We'll make a believer out of you." That was what the whole entire tagline was. They would play Christian music in. And so Mr. Nelson actually took me under his wing and showed me how to do the business in a great way, as a believer, as somebody who can stand and have faith and trust in the Lord at the same time. Look, at the end of the day, this entire business, we all have, hangups, hurts, habits, issues, problems. We do things that sometimes aren't right, and we do things that, just in life, right? But ultimately, as we continue to keep, focused on, focus, right? As we continue to focus on, His love, His grace, His mercy, His forgiveness, His goodness, we can make advancement. And as we move forward, that'll help us. And as long as we keep ourselves teachable and allow ourselves to have the ability to grow, so, I mean, ultimately, after everything's said and done, the whole entire, life in the car business for me has helped strengthen my faith, because it came alongside with me having to trust Him for my daily bread, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And, so this business has been only good to me. It's been a great blessing to my family.
I love that.
I'm grateful to be a part of it, and I'm thankful that more and more people in this business are feeling the ability to share their faith from the top down, and be vocal about it in a way where it's not anything with condemnation or anything like that, but in a way that that, like, provides help, provides grace, provides, everything that, people, we all need in life. And so one of the things I think that is important too is, in the world that we live in now, I feel like the lines of who we are and what we do are now meshed together in a better way, where at one point it was just so, like, you can't say anything, and it's like what you did at work could not, mix together with your personal. And now the personal and professional, I feel like, has been so much more of a mix over these last however many years, to where people are allowing that to be a lot more. You see people on Facebook, they of course you can have your own, personal Facebook or professional, page, but people are just keeping their personal page and, mixing everything with professional and personal all together. Because I feel like in doing that, it allows people to see who we are, and people want to buy from people who they can connect with. And, I remember a couple of times, even on our website, I would put, my father, husband, believer in Christ, and then, in the ministry, things like that, share those things. And I had people come in and actually ask for me because they read my bio, and they said they wanted to work with me because of that.
Wow.
That's the power. And let me tell you something, folks. And he's so right. It was kind of taboo. We were trained, don't talk about religion, politics, all those little things. You never bring that up in conversation. Man, it made you feel bad. Like, you were like, but that's not it. Like, I remember meeting Lou, and Lou was super faithful even back then. It's like, that's not something new for Lou, right? Yeah. Have we made mistakes? We all make mistakes, but at the end of the day, his faith has always been with the one, right?
Amen.
And what I love that about Lou, it's been powerful to see that, and he's never hidden that. But was he shunned quite a bit? Yeah, made fun of quite a bit all the time.
Yeah,
it was kind of it was taboo, but to find people, leaders that lead that way, which to me, number one, as a solutionary, which is I think we all feel this, is love. Lead with love.
Amen.
And we believe that, man. And that's when you find people who do that, who actually love, pure love, right? That's God. So when you know that it's in presence around you, you know that there's something great that can happen. That means there's growth, that's opportunity there. There's not going to be any hate. There's not going to be leadership that tries to slow you down. It's leadership that tries to lift you up. And I think that's a great thing that you found there. And I'm so excited, because now part of that legacy that you were part of is getting poured into others, that's mixed into what you have. But let me tell you something. Before we get too much further, we haven't done this yet. You got the shirts on.
No, we haven't. Yeah, that's right.
We've been talking all this flow, and we can talk about this. We can keep talking about it, but we got to get the forgive, focus, fly off. These 3 F-bombs are important. And it kind of brings us back to all this stuff. Like, before we got in this industry, when we first started, this industry was not what we wanted it to be in a sense, but we did it because we saw opportunity, right? We saw that there was change, but we had to forgive those people who weren't doing it right. We still had to love them. So we had to forgive them. We had to forgive the things they taught us not to do. And we had to relearn and teach ourselves to be better, to be faithful people, to be solutionary. So we had to forgive that so we could focus on what the future of automotive is, the future of people. Because I believe all business is just people. People to people. If you can help each other and you do the right things and you lead with love and you do all the, it works. It's just, they really believe that you care. And when you care, they care, right? So when you're able to focus on that, now you can fly. So let's forgive, focus, fly, and get this party started.
That's right. So we're going to apply those 3 F's. Remember, we've been forgiven much, so we're going to forgive much. Right. And now we're going to focus, and we're going to stretch out in our faith, and we're going to fly. So all 3, 1, 2, 3, forgive.
Focus, fly, and keep growing. Keep growing. That's right, man. Bless. Man, it is time to go, because we got 5 questions, and I know these answers are going to be lit. I'm pumped up to have these questions asked. And the very first question, Joe.
Yes.
What is your why? What motivates you every day to get out there and be the best version of yourself?
Well, ultimately, it leads back to the calling that God has on my life. And that's something that doesn't go away. I mean, when God puts a calling on somebody, the Bible tells us that the gifts and the callings are without repentance. They're irrevocable. He doesn't change his mind. Even when we decide not to follow him, he still doesn't say, nope, you know what? You had your chance, too late. And it doesn't matter. no matter what, even if I have delayed the call, even if I have pulled away from the call, even if I have, slipped and fallen and I can't get up at the moment, right? No matter what happens, the calling does not disappear. It doesn't go away. It's still, the phone still rings. And no matter what, he's still calling. And so that why is what, God's calling is the ultimate why, is because ultimately I'm supposed to go ahead and make an impact and touch people for eternity, because this is temporary. And
wow.
And have I allowed myself to miss opportunities? Yeah, I have. But at the same time, I've also made a point to do the best I can to step over those obstacles and those hurdles and the things that may have slowed me down. And like the Bible says, to let go of those things, and the sin that would so easily beset us, and run our race, right? And run that race so that we can again reach the finish line. And so the why ultimately is rooted to the calling of God, which directly is what ties me to my relationship with God. And then also my family, obviously, my children and my wife, there's something that I want to make sure that I leave them, behind, and not just, as far as monetary or any kind of financial or, things like that, material, but I want to leave a legacy of faith. I want to leave a legacy of knowing that even when things aren't easy, God is still good. Even when life is hard, God is still faithful. Even when things may turn wrong, God is still, he's a good, loving Father. And I think that ultimately that's my why, because, I know that it's just all this stuff, eventually it just disappears and goes away.
So true. The importance of making sure that cornerstone is in place, right? Yes, that fundamental place inside of us of understanding that it's even beyond just the family, right? He made us specifically for a purpose and for a time, right? It wasn't in the early 1900s that Joe Cala came, right? It was in the late 1900s for the right reason.
To his kids, though.
Right. But it was for such a time as this, and understanding that we are injected inside of history, and although we have a concept of time, and I love how you explained that even if we're late to it, he's not worried about time. He's not worried about running out of time. He's inside and outside of time, and he is a patient one. And I love also how you did break that piece down, because the value that a person has is still the value. If I take a quarter and I plant it into the ground for 10 years, when I pull it back out, the value of it is a quarter, right? Just because it gets, even if it's lost, the value is the value, right? And there's so many descriptions and explanations or depictions of the lost sheep, the lost coin, the lost son, right? Inside of that, there was never an issue of whether they had value or not. The value's the same. And it was also never an issue of whether they had ownership issues or not. They still, the sheep belonged to the shepherd, right? The one that the coins, or even the money, right? That belonged to the master. Whoever's it was, it belonged to them. The son belongs to the father. There's never an issue of ownership. There's never an issue of value. It's a matter of knowing where it is that you are, and not being lost in that knowing, and you wanting to leave that legacy of faith for your kids is key, because they're going to spend the money, right? But if they can be rooted in seeing what a laid down lifestyle looks like, a father that walks in faith, that's no dollar can explain that, right? When you also say that this dollar doesn't own me, and you show them that lifestyle, and you show them, look, I'm going to have faith for this, and see that money ain't nothing to a God, right? To my God, money ain't nothing but a thing, right? He can handle that easy. But where you find fulfillment is knowing why you were made to do what you're doing, and then doing it. And it's so important that people find that, brother. That's so key. I love your why. Love your why.
I do too, man. And we could talk about that for a long time, because I think we all kind of share that in our heart. I think a lot of you all who are watching this right now and who watch this on the replay will feel that too. I think deep down, I think we all yearn for that. When you talk about legacy, in my heart, it's a big deal. Legacy is so much deeper than just your next generation. It's generational if you do it right. And maybe your name, but that action, that feeling, that tradition of love and faith and honor and all these things go through your kids to their kids. And maybe they don't remember who great grandpa was, but they know what love is because of it. Right. It's been, and that's something that's so passionate in my heart too. And I feel that. And I think that, I know we're all young men still, but we're getting there. Right. And as we start to really focus on that, we look at that hourglass of life and you see that sand falling and you're like, whoa, it's falling quicker. And you're starting to notice it piling up at the bottom. And you're like, okay, hold on. I really, really want to make sure that I take advantage of every moment that I have. I want to make sure that I'm not wasting time. Don't get me wrong. I still waste a little bit, but I think well-deserved sometimes, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I want to leave a legacy on this planet. And I want to do it the right way, but I do it through a lot of ways. I do it through honoring other people's legacies, passing their legacy through me to others, right? Same thing. It's all the same. It's one energy. And what all that really is love, and that's God. It's just us doing those things.
Can I share something else that you just
Come on.
Please do.
So like, we travel, right?
Yeah.
And you have kids. I think they're a little older than my kids, but my kids are younger, I think, 15, 13, and 9. And so
yes, sir. Babies.
They're babies, right? So but me traveling for so many times and so many years here, there's times where I would do whatever I can to get home as fast as I can when I have the chance to get home. And then when I'd get delayed or when I would have a flight cancel, I would sometimes even rent cars to drive to make sure I'd get home. And a lot of times people are like, well, like, why don't you just wait or whatever? Well, what happens is, and then I get home and then my kids are home and they see me. And there was a time where I was out like 4 days a week, sometimes 5 days a week.
No doubt.
And I get like 2 days with them, 2.5 days. And so I'd get home and my one daughter would say, Dad, I'd say, come on, we're going all together. Why? Don't worry. We don't have to do that. I'll just stay here, or I'll go with, her grandmother or whoever. And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, you don't understand. And my daughter would say, well, we always have, you'll be back next week. You'll be back. And I would say to her, listen to me. You have no concept of the idea of how valuable a minute is for me. Even if I get home 20 minutes early, that is a win. And I value that time so much that I'll do whatever I can to get 20 minutes. I'll do whatever I can to get an hour. 4 hours to me is like a day. Like if I can get just a little more time to get more time with them, that's what I would do. And so when I would not, if I would get a flight canceled or something like that, I would get angry because it's cutting into the things. And so what I focused on was, even though we didn't have a lot of time, we maximized as much time in the time we had to be together and maximize that time together. And it goes, because you were talking about time, you guys. And so I think that it's the same thing when we talk about realizing that, like you said, time is the hourglass is filling up and time is slipping away, and all that's happening. But it's all about, even if we talked about missing what God's called us to do and doing it later than earlier, the Bible even says that God can redeem the time. He can speed up the things that need to get sped up to bring you up to the same point that you need to be at that right time. If you started later or earlier, he'll do whatever he can to accelerate so that he can get you there. And I think that that's one of the things that goes back to, again, our focus on trusting in him, even when things don't look like they're going to work out, even when things don't, see or feel like they're going to, come to pass. That's where faith comes in, right? The evidence of things not seen, the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So that's the key, guys. I mean, but I wanted to share that because you were talking about time.
No,
man,
bro,
no, you please do. Anytime you want to throw in a couple nuggets like that for us, man, that was beautiful, and that's so on the money there. No, right on the money. And that's we talked about it a little bit ago. And the next question that's coming up, Lou's going to drop on you. But we know you've been doing this, like you said, almost your whole life since the 1900s.
Yeah, the 1900s. Back in the
right. So Lou, I'm gonna go ahead and toss it to you, brother.
Back during the time of no showers and such. Yes. So Joe, there's a lot of different avenues, and just got out of a conversation where we were talking about all of the different ways that we find our way into the automotive industry. So the second question on this 5-liner is going to be, Joe, what got you into the car business, brother?
Yeah, so I was detailing cars. I was 17 years old. I was my senior year of high school. I had a wrestling scholarship that I decided not to take due to the fact that I knew I was very unfocused. Again, I had no focus, and I knew that I would throw the money in the street and probably end up getting kicked out, and because I was partying and all the things I would do at that time in my life. So I was detailing cars. I was working at a dealership, and I decided to go up. And I said to my mom, I said, "Mom, I'm not going to go to college." And she said, "Well, you're going to have to get a job." So I said, "Fine." So I went up to the front desk and I asked the general manager of Ocean Chevy Geo Jeep Eagle. So I was selling Geos, Eagles, right? So this is back like the Eagle Talon and like
those are cool.
You said
I remember
the
Eagles.
Yeah, so
I love it
because I just
hear the kids being like, "Dad, they don't even make those cars anymore."
Nope.
Is that the kind of car that cranks up, starts?
Yeah, right, exactly. No, it's got the hole in the floorboard, so you have to use your feet. But I got into the car business. I went up and asked him, and he said, "You want to make?" And this is 1993. He's like, "You want to make $1,000 a week?" I said, "Sure, that'd be great."
Yeah.
And I'm 17, 18 years old. I mean, and I said, "Okay, fine." So started selling cars, and that's what got me in to the business. I stayed in the business. I gave my life to the Lord in 1996.
Wow.
And then I left the business because there was just a lot of crazy things happening in the dealership at that time. Just some crazy things, just just bad things happening in the store. So I'm like, I got to get out of this business, man. So I went to Bible school and then graduated, came back, became an associate pastor, youth pastor. And then I met my wife. We got married, and then we moved out to Oklahoma for her to go into the to Bible school after she graduated college. And then we went to Oklahoma, and then I got back in the business with Mr. Nelson at Nelson Nissan Mazda.
That's right.
In 2004. And so that's kind of the way.
And it was a completely different take when you got to get in there with a spirit-led leader, right?
Yeah.
That was a totally different animal and atmosphere.
But flip side of that coin, imagine if you never went to the very first dealership and this was your first one, would you have appreciated it as much? Right? Sometimes God does that to us. Hey, there's going to be an opportunity in the future. I'm going to show you something now. So when you have this opportunity, you know what kind it is, right? And that's a blessing in a lot of ways.
A great way to look at it. Yeah.
Yep. And he always works everything for the good of those that love him. And understanding that every piece of that went into what it is that you contribute now, right? And just like Fred was saying, you're also distributing a measure of elite integrity, honor, all of these things, because you understand on the extreme side, this has an ugly side, right?
Yeah.
This has a bad side to it. And it's so important that people like you do find the industry and do find a space where they can stretch out in their faith. And man, I just pray that soon are gone the days where men of faith fear coming in this industry because they're so convinced that it means that they're going to have to throw out their actual belief system. Again,
Yeah.
I don't believe that our faith and our walking in our faith is super great behavioralism, right? We're not masters of our behavior. We're just people that are starting to figure out who we are, and our behavior just aligns with it accordingly, right? And because of that, it's so important that people do keep speaking that out, and then people can point out and say, "Hey, there is this man of faith that's up the street. You need to go talk to him." That's why it's important that people be who they're supposed to be, so that Joe Callas can find out, hey, there's other people out here, and it doesn't have to be this way. You know, it doesn't. There is a more excellent way, and that's incredible. But there's so much to learn from other people, right, Fred?
And there is, man. Thank you so much for that little little toss over here, man. I appreciate it. So no, and he's right. And man, this has been a great interview, and I'm really just inspired right now. Just thinking, I'm falling in love with you more and more, Joe. Just saying, man.
I know, right?
And you know, it is. I didn't know that story that you started somewhere like that, and then you had the opportunity to meet somebody that can really just struck your heart and just showed you the right way to do it. Because there is a right way to do this business. There's a wrong way, and is it profitable? Yeah, but for a short time. Right. And then when you get caught up, it's over. I mean, it's over. And you really didn't do anything but lie, cheat, and steal. Or you could do it right and be fulfilled and help people the right way and help other people learn how to do it. And that is the mission that Joe's on. But that's something that was brought to you. You know, we talked about people in your life. I know there's mentors, and I know you get to be a mentor to so many now. How blessed are you? But along your way, and I know currently now you have mentors. Can you name a few of those, or one that maybe sticks out really big to you that really helped you make a pivot or shift in your life?
Well, yeah. I mean, first and foremost, you know, like I said, Mr. Nelson was a very big part of that. You know, my pastor back in New Jersey was a huge part of that. And then also in this business, you know, right now, I have the owner of my company, of Auto Dealer University, a managing partner, Michael Villa, David Villa's dad, and David Villa as well, have been tremendous, you know, in helping me and grooming me in some ways as well. So they're I consider them mentors in my life, and you know, and then also outside of here, my wife's cousin Jonathan Shuttlesworth is an evangelist and a pastor. And so I listen to him as well. And so he does business, or I should say he does ministry up in Pittsburgh, but he also travels around and he speaks as well. So those are kind of the main people that I look up to and look towards for guidance and for direction when it comes to things that are going in this business and in my faith.
Incredible people. Shout out to David Villa, the whole Villa family, just a bunch of incredibles. I mean,
they are some incredible people, that Villa family. Talented, but just the biggest thing, it all starts once again. They all love. They love? I've never been nothing but felt honored by them when I show up. Nothing but hospitality given to us like we're family. I mean, they didn't even know us the first time we were there. Somehow we got invited, and they just, man, my heart still, I feel like I owe, but I know that's not what their intention was. You know what I mean? That's how much I feel honored by that people. And you were part of that crew, man. I mean, really, we came in there and we all just hit it off really well. And I think it all starts again, that four-letter word, love. So I love it.
Oh, love. Gotta love it. So let's talk about love, because love is going to show its face in the midst of all things.
Amen.
When things are great, when things are hard, when things are challenging, when we feel deceived, when we feel encouraged. Either way, love is always going to play its part. The Father is always there. There's never a time that He's not present. It's just a matter of whether we're aware of His presence or not. Inside of that doesn't mean that the hard times aren't going to come. That doesn't mean that the storms don't find us. And I want to encourage people out there of faith. So many times a storm does find you or find your midst, because you're the one that's supposed to shush it. You're the one that's supposed to tell it to go in a different direction. You're the one that's supposed to say, peace, be still in the storm. But inside of so many storms, we forget that Jesus is sound asleep inside of the boat. So let me ask you this, Joe, inside of the growth in your career up to where you are right now, what has been some of, and maybe one of the hardest lessons you've had to learn growing to where it is that you are now?
I guess the hardest lesson that I've had to learn is continual with not getting in the way of what I believe, I guess God can do by trying to step in front of him. And in other words, like I'll go ahead and, if I get impatient sometimes. And I think that, yeah. So like if I guess it's the salesperson in me that wants the deal now and wants the result now. I want everybody wants six pack abs, but nobody wants to do the work to get it, right? And everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die, so to speak, right? So because ultimately, in order to get access into these things, there's work involved, there's process involved, there's time involved, there's things that need to play out sometimes, and sometimes I don't want to wait. So the hardest lesson for me is sometimes patience, which goes back to love. The Bible says love is patient. Love suffers long, right? So it's trusting him with the right timing. It's trusting him for things to come together. And sometimes, sometimes I don't fully trust. I say I trust, but my actions say I don't, because I start trying to figure out the solution in the midst of just waiting, in the midst of while I'm waiting and while I'm just supposed to trust the Lord, then I get like that. Well, you're supposed to do something, faith without works is dead. I say to myself, and I'm like, well, so I should start doing something when I know I should just wait and let it play out. You know what I mean? And, totally. and just being quiet enough to hear his voice in those moments is sometimes, I had somebody say something over me. They, prophesied over me about something a long time ago. And the word was just be patient. And I'll tell you what, that still rings in my ears today. It's hard for me to be patient. Sometimes I want it and I want to move now. And sometimes in doing that, that's also good, because sometimes you have to move fast. Sometimes you have to be able to have the ability to make a decision quick and make that move. But the times that you're not supposed to do that, it can get you in trouble. You know what I mean? So, so I think that's probably a hard lesson for me is being impatient and trusting him with his timing when it comes to certain things, and also trusting him that he'll do what he said he'll do, and that he'll provide when he said he'll provide. As long as I do my part, he'll do his part. Goes back to faith and trust in him.
Absolutely.
So that's
strong, man. That's strong.
What a
I'm sure
is going.
Y'all can take something from that, car guys.
I think there's people. I don't even think you have to be a car guy or car gal to really take something from the show today at all. I think if you're watching this, and I know that there's been people who probably popped in that just like, what is this? And they're looking at it and they're like, they don't even know this is automotive. I would almost guarantee it, because we're talking about life. We're talking about real faith, and it's so powerful. That love is so powerful that it goes into everything. It's not hidden. It knows it all. I'm just saying that's how profound this conversation is. It goes beyond the automotive industry, in my opinion. I know we're Car Guy Coffee Podcast, but right now we're just talking about love. And if you all understand that, you guys get it, jump in here and just watch this on a replay. Share this with somebody who needs to hear this. I'm telling you, it's important to talk about these things, because as we grow and as we go and we have these lessons and we talk about our faith, we talk about our whys, right? What motivates us. We talk about our legacies we want to leave and why we want to leave legacies, and through who we want to leave legacies through. We talk about what got us in this industry. Oh my God, it's so great. And we leave it because there was people that didn't show it, and we came back and we stayed in it. And matter of fact, we love this industry because of people that are great in it, who do it the right way, who lead with love.
That's right.
And we talked about our, mentors are great. They are. We talked about lessons learned. Lessons learned are very important, folks. There's no such thing as, well, there is failures, but failures is not a bad word, is what I want to say. It's the only thing. I don't care if you fail. You could fail a million times. Matter of fact, I prefer that you do, because you'll learn a lot. It's just when you quit is the problem. Quitting is not something you do. Take that out of your word. Don't quit. Always keep growing. But out of all this stuff, all these lessons, these people, what has been your greatest reward up to this point in your career?
My greatest reward.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we are definitely going beyond the hardest lesson, just like we're going beyond mobile first with our friends at NABDAC.
That's right.
But yeah, so the greatest reward is, so, you know, I think going back to just the hardest lesson real quick, because I think that can come into this.
Absolutely.
Is when let's talk car business now. The hardest lesson sometimes is going past, like you said, the failure, going past the thing that I messed up in. And in other words, being able to get over myself and to get past the voices in my head, and to get past the guilt in my mind, to get past the negative emotional, the vampires that suck the emotion and energy out of you. Sometimes it's just being able, like, and it goes back to forgiving myself and trusting that the blood of Jesus Christ is more powerful than any mistake I've ever made. And I think that sometimes I think that the mistake is greater than the power of God's forgiveness. And you know, that's why the Bible tells us that we can have a confidence in him, and knowing that, you know, we don't, you know, our heart, the Bible tells us that when our heart condemns us, then we don't have confidence towards God. So in other words, we've got to keep ourselves out of a place of condemnation. And when I make a mistake, when I don't get the deal, when I say the wrong thing, when I make the wrong, suggestion, and the deal goes sideways, now I kick myself. Now, I failed. Now I didn't put the deal together. Now I missed money for my family and all these things, right? But we have to remember, in this business, I think the greatest reward comes after the greatest lesson. The hardest lesson is when we achieve. So the greatest rewards can be when we achieve the things that we didn't achieve before. And so the greatest reward isn't a one-time thing. That's the greatest reward. I think the greatest reward can be multiple things. It can be continual. It can be the fact that, when we grow from that mistake, and we're in a place of temptation, and we overcome it, and then we're in a place where we want to say something and we don't say it. We're in a place where we want to achieve something, and we never achieved it before, and now we did. And so I think that the reward comes based off of, many times, the growth. So I think the greatest reward is growth many times, especially when I see it in someone else and I'm able to give them something that helps them grow. And especially when I'm able to, be able to give somebody faith or give somebody
Amen.
the right word. I always, as a trainer, I tell my salespeople, especially my managers, who sometimes say that training, or they don't see the value in training and different things like that. And I say to them, you know what, you're in a position today because you were trained years ago.
Yep.
And many times it's because you mastered one phrase that helped you close deals. You mastered one set of rebuttals because of one objection. And now you're in that position and you grow beyond where you're at today because of that. And somebody taught that, somebody gave that to you, somebody invested that, somebody planted that, and that grew. And so I think for me, the greatest rewards are the achievements after the lessons that we failed in. And now we passed. My daughter, she she took a practice test for her EOC in Algebra 1 about 5 weeks ago, something like that. She took like 7 practice tests. The first test, she got a 70. Second, 82. Next one, like an 85. Next one, like an 87. Next one, like a 90. Next one, like a 92. Test day comes. She gets her paperbacks. The only student in the class got 100 on her EOC on Algebra 1. And so the thing, and again, she's in volleyball, and they many times when they go in they're in volleyball, and my son's in football and baseball, but they're in volleyball, they hit the ball into the net, they go like they get all these dramatic responses, and I'm like, stop it with the dramatic responses. You have to learn how to you hit it in the net, figure out how to turn back around, get your head back in the game that fast, and get yourself going in to what you need to do. Hi.
He's saying,
Robin, what's up, my friend?
Hi, Robin.
Got a cameo from Robin Wilson, y'all. Check it
That's
out.
awesome.
But no,
so I say that because then from there, I looked at the videos of my daughter from the beginning of the season till now, and the ability to overcome the failure and get better even after you just hit it into the net, and keep swinging, right? Keep talking to people in the business.
That's
right.
Right.
Keep writing deals, keep reviewing, keep going over the things that you did, and then learn where you were to where you are on how you can get better to go to where you want to be. And I think that those are some great rewards, I think that are there. I hope that answers.
No, you do. And that's the thing, your heart, we got one of our good friends, another podcaster, author now, Mr. Ron Garverick. What's up?
Hey, Ron, I know Ron.
Yeah,
up,
man.
Ron?
He says that you are one of the best in the business, and that's amazing. And I believe that, dude, because of where your heart's at.
Thank you so much, man.
Because it's about that. It's about pouring into others and watching them fail, but yet when they do fail, watching them go back and try again.
Yeah.
Because what we do as trainers, what we do as consultants, what we do as leaders and managers is we build confidence in our people. And when you could put seeds of confidence inside them, man, does it change their life. I was fortunate. My first manager was fantastic. My first guy who taught me my road to the sale was amazing, and he was great at what he did, and he was passionate, and he showed me something that made me go, I had belief and I had faith that there was amazingness in this business, that there's an opportunity in this business. Maybe some of the closes weren't the best closes I should have used, but his heart and the way he made me feel built so much confidence in me. It was confidence.
Yeah.
You start with confidence, you can teach it. People with confidence, they can be taught closes. They don't even need to be taught closes. They just listen, they talk, and they just feel confident about what they see. They get better, like you said, through trial and error, right? But that's taught. Sometimes you got to be taught confidence. Not all of us have it. Most of us are we're very insecure when we've never done something before. That's called that uncomfort zone. When you're in that uncomfort zone is when the magic happens, though. The uncomfort zone is where you become great, because that's where other people don't go. The people who are not doing great things, they stay comfortable. And it's okay. And I'm not against that. I love you all. I'm not asking you to be, not everyone has to be, but you have it inside you. Every one of us does. God has put that inside you to be as great as you want to be. And it's okay if it's your third, what I love about what you talked about today, Joe, is that time thing. We don't have a lot of time on this planet when it comes to eternity, but while we're here, the right time will be the right time. It doesn't matter if you're 20, doesn't matter if you're 60. When that time comes, you need to do it, and you'll know when it is. So don't let that pass by. God put nudges all over you all the time. Take advantage of those nudges. Listen to what he says. Like he says, sometimes you got to be still and really listen. And when you do that, it's powerful. You feel that love pour into you. You might even get emotional. I know I have multiple times, and I'm blessed to be part of that love. I'm blessed to be part of this planet, part of this whole thing. I'm blessed that God gave up his son for us so we can have eternal life with him and everybody. We just have to believe. We have to have faith. And we just have to have honor and just make sure we do it. And I love this, man. This has been a great show, man.
This is great stuff.
This has been like so powerful. Like, I honestly just think that folks, I think if you go back and you listen to what we're talking about here, it sounds complicated, but it's simple. It really is. It really is. He made it easy on us, but we just have to, like Joe keeps talking about, and something I love to say too is faith without works is dead. You can't
It's
just say it.
Bible. That's
Can't just
Bible.
say it. Right. The Bible said that. Right. Amen. But what I'm saying is that is profound if you think about that too. It's truth. It's you can say it, but you have to your acts have to be of it.
Yeah.
But it's okay to make mistakes as long as your heart is there. Right. And that's why Jesus was on that cross. So
it's so key. I mean, listening to that and hearing people understand that our faith is a fundamental piece of who it is that we are. And I love how you correlated that, Joe, inside of the car business, because there's a lot you have to add your faith to. You jump into the car business from an industry or from any other place where you maybe had a stable check, you're going to activate some faith. When your boss tells you to go say something that you ain't never said, and you're going to get a head nod from some what, right? And you're like, all right, let me go do it. It worked. Oh my gosh, right? You have to activate that faith. Then you have the faith that is semi-blind, and then you have the faith that's experiential. But inside of both of those alignments, there's something that shakes inside of a person when they understand that we're loved no matter what. And we keep highlighting that love. In Romans, it says that what happy progress comes to those that hear the Lord speak over them. I will never hold your sins against you.
Yeah, that's strong.
I mean, I will never hold your sins against you. You can't mess this up. What kind of progress can you have inside of your life when you understand I can't mess this up, so I might as well try. I might as well put my faith into it because my daddy's got me, right? And I love that, and that's in the Passion Translation where it says, "What happy progress." I love that it says that because we get joy-filled progress in all areas of our life when we're not so condemning of ourselves for our own mess ups. And that the forgive part is usually the hardest on ourselves, right, Joe? You brought that up. It's the hardest on ourselves to forgive ourselves for missed opportunities, missed chances, missed time. But then when we can wipe that off and we can forgive ourselves and look at ourselves and say, if your God doesn't hold it against you, why are you still carrying it?
Yeah.
Get that junk off your shoulders, right? And then we can focus, and then we can fly, and we can keep growing. Joe, we can talk about this all day long, brother, and we will. We're going to find a clubhouse room and talk about it a little bit more. We're going to have more just cut ups of this conversation. But brother, we honor you. We're so thankful for you. Joe, can you tell us a little bit more about how people can get a hold of you if they want more of what it is that you're brewing for the industry? Because you got some solutions, brother, and we want to make sure that people know how to get a hold of you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can get me at first of all, my website is autodealeruniversity.com. In this industry here, we align ourselves with our dealer partners to help their teams grow, help their teams perform better, and make improvements as well. And also you can reach me on my cell phone at 848-248-0730. Or you can email me at jcala, Cala, at autodealeruniversity.com. Or you can hit me up on Facebook or Instagram as well. At RevJoe.
Car Guys. We want you to know that this is a 100% Car Guy Coffee approved car guy right here. And we're going to go ahead and make sure that you see that stamp of approval. But we're telling you, he has information that you need to get your sales pros, your managers to be able to digest and take on. But Fred, we got to let everybody know that Joe Cala is 100%
CGC approved.
That's right. You made it. Bam, 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 bam. So excited to say that Auto Dealer University, Joe Cala, the incredible, and all of those that are brewing solutions with a forgive, focus, fly mentality are going to see how to keep growing. Ron G, 100% CGC approved. We love you, brother. We love you all. Thank you so much, car guys and car gals, for joining us today. We got to make sure that we do forgive, focus, fly before we get out of here, and shout it loud that we are brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee podcast. Hit the music. There we go. 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 So on three, everybody, let's go ahead and forgive, focus, and fly so we can keep growing. On three. 1, 2, 3. Forgive. Focus. Fly. And keep growing. Keep growing. Woo! I am Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
And I'm Fred Lenartz, the subprime hero.
And you have been Brewing Solutions live on the Car Guy Coffee podcast. You can get more information by going to carguycoffee.com. Get some more of the brews. But today you have been brewing with the one, the only Joe Cala. That's right, everybody. Get you some of that. Joe, we appreciate you. We love you, brother.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Love you too, man. Thank you so much.
Oh, heck yeah, heck yeah. Make sure that you guys check him out, gas him up. If you're watching this on the replay, let Joe know that you appreciate his loving heart, appreciate what it is that he's bringing to the industry, and appreciate somebody that's bold enough to speak about their faith and won't apologize about it.
Amen.
Absolutely love it. Honor you, brother. Car guys, car gals. Until we see you again, keep brewing solutions. We out.